so rank. We're gonna rank our and maybe no particular order.
I'm saving my favorite TV show for last.
Yeah. I mean, we'll kind of go back and forth.
The show that gave me like just every week I was like, oh, losing it over it.
And I think we might have the same number one for TV. So you want to do TV first or movies?
Let's go TV.
All right, TV. We'll do a little round robin here. You want to give me one of yours, and then I'll give you one of mine?
Okay, not my favorite. I don't think it's my least favorite, but 1883.
That's the Yellowstone stuff.
Yeah, the Yellowstone prequel. There's actually two. It's so weird. There's two Yellowstone prequels this year. There was 1883, and now 1923 just started now.
Yep.
With Han Solo, Harrison Ford, and Dame Judi Dench.
Harrison Ford. That's my Harrison Ford impersonation.
Again, as a Yellowstone fan, it's always nice to dip back into that history of the show. And I love when these shows keep with the continuity.
Yeah.
So what they're showing you in the past is kind of like the way they've portrayed things in Yellowstone. When you look at 1883, it's like you understand that that's the way it follows the timeline.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yeah. That's something where everybody talks about Yellowstone and all these prequels and stuff. It's something I really got to get on board with. I hear good things. Some good things. So yeah, that's a good one. Now as far as mine go, I mean I did 10, but
I think I got like 8.
Okay. So I mean there's a few that I have on the bottom that are pretty much just like continuations, like different seasons. I didn't know if we were gonna go. I didn't want to know if I wanted to go that route of like. That's why I was hesitant to put 1883 and put it at the bottom because I'm like, do I want to go with something that's like a sequel or spin-off from something else because it feels so... It's just something that you watched this year that you were like really jazzed about. I mean, one that I'm kind of sad, I'll pull this one because the ones on the bottom I have like stuff like Better Call Saul's final season, which was just like Breaking Bad, perfect way to end the show.
Okay.
Stranger Things was season 4, that was a great season. And The Boys, season 3.
Wow, I didn't even think about The Boys.
Yeah, The Boys season 3 debuted in 22.
I put that on my list.
Yeah, so it's with those type of ones. I mean, we can go on and on about them, but they're continuations. They're new seasons of a show that we really really like. So it's not like The Boys would show up on every year. The ones that I put, I'll start with this one really. That was something I watched on HBO Max that unfortunately is not getting another sequel. I mean, another season.
What the shit?
Well, because they, Zaslav dropped his axe and cleaned everything out. But Minx, I really enjoyed Minx.
That was such a good show.
A lot of penis in it. But let me tell you, it was a good. And I always forget that actor's name. That was in it. That played like the. He was like the head of the porn company that did it. He was into the Spider-Verse. He was the. I always forget his name, but he was great in it.
He's the guy who looks like, what's his name?
Yeah, there he is. He was on How I Met Your Mother.
That's not.
No, that's Glenn.
Jake Johnson.
He sounds like a porn name right there, Jake Johnson.
See, I know him from New Girl.
Yes, New Girl. That's what I meant. Not How I Met Your Mother. What the hell am I talking about?
Jesus Christ, get your shit together.
Son of a B. Or Let's Be Cops. Have you ever seen that movie?
He's also the voice of Peter B. Parker.
Yes. Yeah, so it was a great show. It looked like it was going to keep going. They shot a second season.
Okay.
It was done. And they still canned it, and they got rid of all that stuff. I mean, HBO, Warner Brothers.
So wait, they have a whole season shot and ready to go, and they just dumped it.
Yep. There's a couple of shows that they had on HBO Max that they just kind of were like, yeah, we're just going a new direction, and they're talking. It might show up on some other thing, maybe Netflix will pick it up, kind of like a Cobra Kai thing. I'm hoping, but it was a good, it was a good story. It was an original story, and yeah. And who doesn't like to see a lot of dongs, big ones, small ones, It made me feel bad about myself.
Oh, God.
But anyway, yeah, that was one of that I had on my list for TV is Minx. That was kind of in the middle after all those season 3s and season 5s and blah blah blah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't put that on my list only because I didn't know kind of like how much I really liked it. Linking back to it, it was a fun, enjoyable thing, but. For me, a lot of things are on a rewatchability score. I know you hate hearing me say that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few that I didn't put on the list. I'm interested to see
my
if
next
you
one
have on there.
I got that show Severance, which is on Apple TV.
A lot of people talk about the Severance
because I did rewatch it.
Oh yeah, okay.
I did. I mean, I knew everything that happened. It's one of those like I threw it on in the background because I knew what was going to happen, but it was still fun to rewatch it now, knowing who all the players were, all the last minute reveal spoilers and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it. They did a whole musical box set. Like they did one of these. This website has like weird record box sets that they do for shows and movies with the soundtracks, and that was one they did. Oh my god! I gotta drink more seltzer.
Yeah,
or swallow less creamy stuff. But yes, very good show. I mean, that's what's his name? Ben.
You looking at me? I didn't watch it.
Oh my god! What the Zoolander.
Pineapple.
No. God damn it! What the hell? Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Yes.
Yes, it's a Ben Stiller thing, and he moved away from like comic stuff to really like. When you watch Ben Stiller comedies, they're kind of like wacky, out there, kind of oddball comedy stuff. And I think he just went, you know what? Fuck making it funny. I'm going to lean into that surreal shit and just go full bore into that. And I think that's why this show was so good, is that he's like, I'm going to give up on the funny aspect. And like, there is some funny to it where it's like, it's funny in that it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
At points that you're like, holy shit. But
I know you like. I know you like a lot of that heady stuff.
Stoner stuff.
Yeah. For me, I'm just like, what's going on? What's going on? No, that's a good one. That's something. Like I said, it's one of the only streaming things. But I did get a new phone, so they keep saying, "Hey, you get 3 months of Apple TV Plus." I'm like, oh, maybe I'll check out some of that stuff. So, as far as
what else you got
on my list, a lot of people kind of shit on it.
Fuck them then.
And it wasn't the best, but I have Obi-Wan on there.
So do I.
Yeah, I mean Obi-Wan, as much as people are like complained about certain aspects of it, I really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed that it filled in the Obi-Wan story and gave me some Vader. Some good Vader.
Yeah, and the Vader Obi-Wan fight. Classic. There are some inconsistencies with it, and there was some things that people nitpick about. But as far as like, if I have to look at all the Star Wars, it's not one of the best.
Right.
But it was nice to see Ewan McGregor back in that character again. And sure, they could have done it like way different and stuff like that. But for what it was. It was good, and it gave Hayden Christensen back his cred with Vader.
Thank God.
It had some great points. Yeah, sure, there was some stuff that was kind of like, really? I didn't really want to concentrate on, young Leia that much, but, I've heard people criticize about the old, Leia running through the woods with Flea catching. It's like, dude, it's Star Wars. Yeah. Like, come on. It's okay,
What famous person isn't going to, like, call in their chit and be like, yo, can I be in a Star Wars?
Yeah, and look, it was like, I'm sure there's one Star Wars show that we're gonna,
you know why people
about.
You know why people have a problem with Flea chasing her through the woods?
Why is that?
Because they're thinking back. They're thinking Back to the Future.
That's right.
What's the matter, McFly? You chicken?
Oh, what's his name? Oh God, what was it? Needles.
Needles.
Yeah, not the most versatile actor.
But here's what I
give
like
us
about
the money, Lebowski.
I think I was more. I don't know. I don't know what word to use, but like excited with the Vader return in Obi-Wan than I was with the Luke return in Mandalorian.
Yeah, the Luke thing.
Luke thing was like, ooh, Luke, but at the end it was like, okay, it's whatever.
And it was kind of jarring. They did the deep fake that they're doing now is way better, and I'm sure that like what they did in the Book of Boba Fett, which I didn't put on there, which was there was some good parts of it, but a lot of it was like it wasn't what I expected. Like Book of Boba Fett, I could have put them with Obi-Wan for the fact that there was really good parts of it.
Sure.
But there was also some real turd parts of it. Like seeing him come out of the Sarlacc pit. Yeah, this was great. Hanging out with the Tuskens. Okay, that's how.
Which is right out of the comic books. Him coming out of the Sarlacc pit.
But they promised us in Book of Boba Fett. I don't know. I mean, they promised us really like, a gangster, mobster Star Wars,
and that's not what we got.
No, we got him being a good guy and a bunch of Power Rangers going on Vespers. I don't even know that
you would even call him an anti-hero.
No, he was
he's straight up hero.
and apparently his name is Boba Fett because he says 100 times. My name is Boba Fett. Well, yeah. And it was cool seeing Cad Bane.
He's the son he's the son of Jango Fett.
Yeah, I mean seeing Cad Bane was cool. He kind of went out like a bitch, but so yeah,
he's not out though.
No,
he's not. I've seen the things online that he's not dead. He's like, I don't. There was some things about the fact that he will be back.
I'm sure. Nobody's ever really dead in Star Wars.
I will tell you, I finally, not to get too off the topic here, real quick. I did binge The Bad Batch the other day.
Oh yeah, okay.
So fucking good.
You liked it, right?
If it was a 2022 show, it'd be right up on the top, right underneath my number one.
Yeah, I mean, new season's coming out,
and that's why I binged it.
Yeah, like is it coming out January, February?
Yeah. Well, that's why Manny's upstairs right now binging the Transformers movies with his girlfriend.
Oh yeah,
because the new one's coming out and they want to be like all ready for the new.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know, all caught up on the movies and current. Like, okay, we rewatched them. So storyline, and they're even going to watch the Mark Wahlberg one. So.
Everybody's got it. It's a fucking Transformer.
So you got Obi-Wan, I got Obi-Wan.
All right, well that's good. Good. What else you got there?
Here's one you probably don't have: The Old Man.
I've heard a lot of people have that on their top 10. The Old Man.
It was really good. It was a little slow. I think I said this when I first talked about watching it. It was slow, but. If you remember the premise, the guy's like a former KGB asset, like CIA spy guy who kind of went underground, but he's got a daughter, and now they're coming after him. It's a whole thing. It was a good show, a good spy show, very Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, if you know what that show was, and movie and book or whatever the fuck it was. But I enjoyed it. Give it a watch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always down with it.
Dude, they're back. Hot girls are waiting here. Hot girl. Ooh.
Live? Hey, all.
Oh, that's just me. Live, hey all. And the hot girls are here. Good.
All right, good.
All right, what else you got?
All right, well, we did talk about this. I mean, we might as well talk about Peacemaker. I mean, that was one of the shows where
that's up under my number 2.
That's kind of what I did with my TV. It was just kind of like, all right, what are the shows that like. Especially the ones that were weekly, like what I was like, oh my God, I gotta watch this. I gotta watch this. Where it wasn't like, yeah, I'll get to it. I'll catch up. This was like, oh wait, it's It
Wednesday. Was one of those shows I watched and then watched it once for the story and for the laughs, and then had to rewatch so I can catch all the things I missed because I was laughing too fucking hard the first time. Yeah,
I mean, just the John Cena just freaking owns that role. John Cena.
Where's the button for that one?
Yeah.
Oh God, no, wrong button.
He got a little flustered.
You're late, you fucking dickheads.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go fuck another fish, asshole.
That's right. Go fuck another fish, asshole.
Exactly.
Or my favorite. Can I just give my favorite?
Sure.
Like Green Arrow?
No, not like Green Arrow. That dude goes to brony conventions dressed in the back half of Twilight Sparkle with a 4-inch wide butthole drilled in the costume.
I mean, it's classic. And who would have thought, like, that's why I'm very happy about James Gunn taking over the DCU, is because, he's able to play in the Marvel playground of like PG-13, but then also everybody knows James Gunn for his, raunchy kind of thing with the I just recently watched the Suicide Squad again.
Yeah.
It was so on, during the week or something like that, and I was just like, oh my God, I just love this.
Starfish butthole jokes. Come on.
We got a kaiju up in this shit. I freaking love it. So to have that a continuation, it was like a Peacemaker show. Like, I remember they announced that even before the movie came out.
Right.
And we were like, okay, I guess.
Why do we need a Peacemaker show?
Apparently we do, because I can't get enough of that. So yeah, that was one that we had on there, Peacemaker, that, I'm fingers crossed that it'll still survive the Gunn kind of
it better.
Rebooting.
It's his show.
Yeah, but at the same time, it'd be kind of weird if it was like, oh, you're gonna get rid of everything except your shit,
Listen here, I was promised a season 2. if I don't get my season 2, there's gonna be some James Gunn motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to. I
need it. I need my season 2.
Yeah, I think they're talking. I mean, we can get into a whole rabbit hole about DC and what they're doing, and like talking about Elseworld things and all that shit. But yeah, I mean, a show that good, that got critically acclaimed. I think it's gonna stay. So. Yeah, Peacemaker, man. What else you got for me there?
I got this little show called Tulsa King. I'm loving Tulsa King.
I have the Tulsa King as well.
So good.
I missed. Did they have one this Sunday?
No.
The Christmas Day?
No. There's nothing new on this fucking week. That's how I got into. I was like, Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And then I was watching Bluey.
Bluey. I know you're like, yeah, I'm watching Bluey. I'm like, what the hell is Bluey?
Dude, don't
My
sleep
balls?
on Bluey. I was surprised when I told you that you didn't ask your girls if they would know what Bluey is.
No.
It's an Australian kids TV show with this little blue howler dog and her sister Bingo and the parents that are howler dogs. It's just a really good show. When we're done here, I'll show you the first episode because
apparently Bingo was his name-o.
Yes. We're watching. It's just like there's one episode where it's like the commitment of the dad dog, and each of the episodes is like maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's one of those like when your kids were watching Nickelodeon, and then there's that little like thing in between where Ross Alvord's sitting there reading a fucking book to a bunch of kids.
Yeah, the Stinky Bug Blues.
That's right.
I know.
It's kind of like that. It's like I think it was on between things. It was like and now another little episode of Bluey, and it's like a 10-minute filler between things.
Okay.
So it's a fun show.
Yeah.
I can get more into it later on, but I'll show you the first episode because Anastasia and I watched it. She's the one who turned me on to it, and I was just like, I can't tell if there's like some magical, mystical shit going on in this world or the dad has that kind of commitment to his kids.
Okay.
You're going to watch it, and you're going to go, Jesus, fuck.
Okay.
Magical xylophone.
X amount of times I said you should have went to Xavier to study the xylophone.
So Tulsa King, right up there.
Yeah, I mean, Rocky Stallone. What can we say? It's
him as a gangster.
Yeah, and we've talked about it on past episodes where it's just like I never thought. I'm surprised it took this long to him to get typecasted as that, but yeah, man, it's a surprise. It was a surprise for me. Like I saw it and I was like, okay, this could be either really gritty and Sopranos type stuff, but it, like we said, it's really not. It's kind of watered down a little bit, but at the same time, it's not bad. It's not like like you're just dumbing it down. It's fun. It's fun, and it seems like stuff's about to go down soon. So I'm anxious to see how it's gonna go.
I think that friend of his, the guy who came out to visit him, I was like, hey, we'll go all the way back. I didn't know. I swear, my mother's eyes.
Yeah,
that guy. I think he's starting to realize the fucking other guy, the new boss, is fucking nuts and off his rocker, and he's like, I can't follow along with this. There's something else.
You think Rocky Stallone's gonna convert him?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's that whole old regime, new regime kind of thing, where it's. Yeah, I hope that whole freaking crew goes down. Especially that freaking boss.
What else you got? Because I got 2 more shows and that's it, and I think you got the same one of them.
Yeah. Well, there's one that I put on here. What's interesting, we
I'll cut that out in post.
We talked about, we haven't gotten the movies yet, but oddly enough, as much as a Marvel shill that I am,
I don't have a single Marvel show on here.
I have one that I enjoyed. The only reason I put it on here is because it was one that I least was like, wow, I can't wait. Like She-Hulk, I was very interested in. That kind of
petered out after like 3 episodes.
3 episodes, it was great, and then it just kind of stank. Even though Tatiana Ali or whatever her name is
Tatiana Maslany.
Yeah, that one.
Show some fucking respect.
Hey man, I'm not
only because she was on one of my favorite shows. That's all.
Yeah. But like Moon Knight, I was excited for, and I almost put that on the list because it was good, but it wasn't like wow.
Baymax, right? That was the show.
Yeah, it was Baymax. Totally. No, the only no Marvel movies this year.
Nope.
Not even though they've released a bunch.
Let's see if I can find which TV show. Go ahead. Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
All right.
Miss Marvel. Out of all of them, I was like, okay, this is going to be too. I remember when it first came out, I was like, this is going to be too teeny bopper for me, and blah, 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 blah. I really liked it. Was more of a story of not necessarily, hey, look at my cool superpowers. It was a story about family.
Right.
And her learning how to deal, being such a Ms. Marvel, a Captain Marvel shill, like, oh my God. And then seeing they go to Avengers Con, and then she has these powers. And then the conflict that she has with her family. I learned a lot of stuff about stuff like the partition, which I never knew anything about. Near the end, then I was just like, I loved her family. And they were all like, it wasn't like, oh my God. They were just like,
I wanted to go over their house for dinner.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to hang out. And it was the first mention of Mutant
True.
At the end. And so, yeah, out of all of them, these movies.
I got to agree. I think that was one of those shows that I wasn't like sitting. It's the one show I wasn't going like, yeah, I'll watch it when I get a chance.
Yeah, and it got kind of screwed over just because it was on the same time as Obi-Wan. So it was kind of like, I think it got kind of pushed a little bit out of the way. But like, out of all the movies and the TV shows of Marvel this year, that's the only one.
I think that's one of the things I'm liking about National Treasure is like the girl, her mother and father were treasure hunters, and they're dead, and she's like basically alone now, but with her friends. And this kid, the other guy who's in it, it's like Harvey Keitel's character was his grandfather, and his dad, the kid's dad, is dead, Harvey Keitel's son, and there's that whole family dynamic, and the kid's mom is dead, and like there's this whole thing there. I don't think his mom is dead. She might not be. But like, it's again, they're creating their own little like. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, teeny bopper, but it was. But like Miss Marvel was teeny bopper, and they're creating their own family of friends.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm excited to see. Even though Captain Marvel, I only saw it once, and it was just kind of like, whatever. I'm excited now to see the Marvels because it's gonna have her in it. So, yeah, that was really the only Marvel thing that I have this year, which is crazy because we had Doctor Strange, we had Thor. All of them were just like...
Well, and that's why we didn't get the news, but you posted it on Facebook. The Taika Waititi's not getting a Star Wars film.
Yeah, Star Wars, they got to stop.
But like they gave him... Shit. He had a hit with the Thor, Ragnarok, and they like opened the doors and gave him everything. And then all of a sudden now he comes out with, everything else that he's got coming out. It's like...
Yeah, Star Wars really has to stop freaking announcing shit.
Oh, my God.
Unless I see a trailer or unless it's done, we filmed it kind of stuff. Like, don't tell me Patty Jenkins is getting a movie, Taika Waititi's getting a movie, Rian Johnson's getting a trilogy. None of that shit, because then you just look like an asshole.
Wasn't there some movie that was supposed to be about, like, the fighter squadrons that, like...
That was the Patty Jenkins one.
It wasn't supposed to be a movie, but then they're like, no, we're going to make it a series, and then it's gone. Or was it the other way around? It's going to be a series. No, it's going to be a movie, and now it's nothing. It
was going to be a movie. I think it was just a movie, and then they shut it. And now they're still talking like, oh, well, it still might happen. Only because Patty Jenkins got the shit on Wonder Woman 3, where they were just like, Gunn and Safran were like, no.
Not to jump too far ahead, but we need more shit in the Star Wars universe that's not really connected. We need more of those one-off shows, not the Solo movie. We need more Rogue One stuff.
Yeah, and they have to come up with some sort of a plan,
right.
And keep it in the like we were saying, TV wise, Star Wars was all about TV, and I think we both know what our number one probably is for
Andor.
Yeah,
that's my number one. That's the only thing I got left on my list is Andor.
Yeah, I mean, just that was the way, and it was nice because at the end, once again, it was one of those least likely where you're like, oh my, like I had a boner for Obi-Wan and Boba Fett. I'm like the classic characters. And yeah, we're gonna do an Andor. And as much as I loved Rogue One, I was like, I hate prequels. I know what they're gonna do. Like, how are you gonna get me? And that was the best one.
And I said it was so good. I was watching Rogue One yesterday again, but it was so good that it made me overlook the fact that visually there's a huge age difference. Even though the show takes place before Rogue One,
yeah,
you can tell he looks significantly older in Andor. The other thing, and I mentioned this before, that always gets me is fucking Two Tubes. Because in watching Rogue One again yesterday, when they capture her and she says who she is, Two Tubes is like, who the fuck are you? But it's like, wait, Two Tubes has been with Saw Gerrera since the beginning, and if Saw Gerrera raised her when she was a kid, she should know who he is, and he should know who she is.
Yeah. Well, also, I think there was a gap in between when Saul was taking care of her and when she came back. Like she kind of just disappeared for a while.
Yeah,
so
but the Andor stuff takes place after the Rogue, like in the beginning of Rogue One when she's a kid, and when she got taken by Saw Gerrera, everything in Andor happens way after that.
Yeah.
So she would have known Two Tubes.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to explain it at some point, you know.
But no, they won't. They'll just ignore it. But it never happened.
You know, as long as
that's my issue.
All I know is season 2. We better have some K2SO. We better have some Go Gullet. Go Gullet. Go Gullet.
Well, that was the other thing is watching the Bad Batch with Saw Gerrera, like young Saw Gerrera before he's like.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he's been in, you know, he's been in the lore, in the canon, you know, on the animated stuff. So, you know, and who doesn't love freaking Saw Gerrera? It's just so stupid.
I love me some Saw.
He's just a crazy freaking guy. But yeah, I mean, Andor by far one of the best, you know, shows. The only other thing that I have on here is House of the Dragon. Only because you took a guy who didn't watch fucking Game of Thrones. Was like, I'll get to it. And eventually I was like, well, can I watch? And I asked you, I remember asking you going, well, can I watch this show without seeing Game of Thrones? And you're like, yeah, you won't get like the little Easter eggs in it, but you'll get it.
Probably better that you don't.
Oh, I fucking love it. And my brother, I was talking to him because he was here for Christmas, and he was like, how psyched are you now that you can watch Game of Thrones and be like, oh, yeah, I know that thing. So it's like, it's new to me.
You'll see the dagger.
Yeah. So